Yo
Yo.
was a toy from the 1980s to about the early 2000s. There was even a trend in my primary school years where yo-yos were actually a pretty trendy toy. They're not anymore though, because they'd smack you in the eye and you'd cry like a little sook. That also was something only I ever did. Hi, welcome back. Today we're reading not reading podcasts, we're reading Reddit stories.
We are.
Get it right, Marky.
Jesus, Jack.
God, man.
No yo.
No yo-yos.
No yo-yos
I'm
here,
too
buddy.
white to say yo.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Be a real one.
Yeah.
We're the certified assholes. And
Yeah.
This is our second episode, guys. This is going to be a crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an insane day today.
Blow your socks off.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you're wearing them, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
Jack.
yeah.
Get your feet
later
out.
in the episode.
Get your feet out right now.
No. Hey, that's only
Get
for
the
the
piggies out.
That's only for the
They
people
want
that pay
the
extra.
piggies.
No. They got to pay extra for
It's
that.
the snack that shows his feet back.
We're hidden the knees. The knees have gone hiding. You have to pay to get that sort of quality.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
Every
buddy.
episode, every story we read,
Mhm.
I'll just unfold just a little
Not gonna
bit.
spill water on yourself this time.
No, shut up. We weren't. You said you weren't going to talk about that.
Oil yourself up a little bit for the audience, Jack. Oil yourself up for a
No.
real one.
No, okay, we're not that
Unbuttoning
desperate
yourself
yet.
and just start,
We're not that desperate yet. No, okay. We're gonna start with just rolling up the legs, the little pants every single story we read,
Yeah.
and then if we still don't get any viewers, then I'll oil myself up.
You're gonna be like that quote that Dumbledore said in Harry Potter. He's like, Harry, in life there are those things that are hard and those that are easy, and I'm both right now. That's what we're
I
gonna
don't
get you
think
to
you were
do for
watching the right Harry Potter movie.
That's how we're gonna get a bigger audience here. You're gonna do that for the camera.
What kind of wands were they using in your movie? 'Cause
They had batteries in them for some reason. Battery powered ones.
Oh no, there's so many jokes to make that. We are not going to go that far. Let's leave it there.
All right, you
Yep.
want to get into the stories then, Jack?
Yeah, let's get into the family content.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first post today, posted 3 days ago by Generous Jasmine.
Mhm.
It's, am I the asshole here for telling my fiance's daughter that I'm not her mum after she called me a gold digger with a uterus?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what she said. Buckle up.
Mm.
I, 32 female, have been with my fiance, 38 male, for almost 4 years. He has a daughter, 15 female, from his first marriage. Her mum is very much in the picture, but she's more of a wine and vibes parent than someone who actually parents. Oh, the fun mum.
Yeah.
I love a fun mum. I've been the one handling school stuff, doctor's appointments, making actual meals instead of Postmates every night, helping her through panic attacks, you name it. Now, I never tried to replace her mum, but I've been a consistent, caring adult in her life. I even helped plan her last birthday party when her mum completely forgot the date. Like, I've seriously bent over backwards for this kid. Fast forward to last weekend, we're at this fancy dinner with my fiance's family, the first time his extended family has met me, so I'm trying to make a good impression. Midway through, his daughter turns to me, smiles sweet as pie, and goes, "So how does it feel being a gold digger with a uterus? That's what mum says you are." That's crazy.
Oh!
Yeah. Whole table stops. Someone chokes on their wine. And I just sat there stunned for a second and said, "Oh, honey, I'm not your mum. I just happen to be the woman keeping your life together while she's out getting her chakras aligned." Damn. Let's go. Fiance was mortified. His daughter burst into tears and stormed out. He later said that I stooped to her level and that I need to apologize because she's just a kid repeating what she hears. I told him that I've spent years being disrespected and taking the high road, and maybe the real problem is that a 15-year-old is walking around thinking she can say things like that and not get clapped back at. Now his family is split. Some think I was too harsh, others say that I just finally said what no one else would. So am I the asshole here for finally telling this girl that I'm not her mum when she decided to come for me in front of the whole damn family?
Yeah, that sounds like someone at their age where they wanted to see what boundaries they can push. Like, hey, I'm gonna be
He's a 15-year-old.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be edgy. I'm gonna be an adult. I can say adult things now. Hey.
Yeah, and she's not even backing herself up. She's like, "Oh, that's what my mum says you are." Like,
Yeah.
You didn't hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
It was the second horse's mouth.
I just degraded you in front of everyone. It's not my fault though.
No,
Ooh-woo.
I didn't degrade you though. Someone else did. I
Yeah.
just had to say it.
Yeah, I just had to say it with a smirk on my face. Like I know what I'm saying is rude and mean, but it's fun to see you react to me. Give me your attention, please.
Yeah, and the fancy dinner with the fiance's family, and the first time that she's met this family as well. This is the first thing, and the daughter immediately is like, you're literal trash.
Yeah.
Here's some hot gossip about you.
Yeah.
What is it? Gold digger with a uterus.
I mean, what is that even like? A
I
gold
don't know
digger
what that means.
What is a gold digger without a uterus? The literal term a gold digger refers to a woman. So, like, I mean, not that I support the term being used here, but it's still, I don't know. It's like, what's it like being a misogynist with a willy? That's what they all are.
Just a regular guy.
Yeah, you're just a regular dude.
I don't understand what gold digger with, like, what does the uterus part have to do? Just call her a gold digger.
Yeah.
What?
Ah.
That's what my mum says you are. Mum spent too long getting her chakras aligned. That's for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think if anything, she's just proved she's even more of a mother here because she's actually giving her a life lesson of, don't dish what you can't take. So good on ya.
So in the comments, this guy is saying, I'd say you need to reevaluate this relationship and your role in it. And OP replies, yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I stepped into this role to build something real, not be treated like a live-in assistant with a uterus. If this is how I get repaid for holding it all together, then maybe I need to stop auditioning for a family that doesn't actually want me in the cast. Well, that's sad.
It is a bit of a dark decision to make in this situation, but at the same time, I also kind of can't blame her feeling like that. Yeah.
Well, she's saying she's trying to build something, not be treated like a live-in assistant. So someone here replies, if nothing else, I'd immediately stop organizing the 15-year-old's life. She can ask for help, but stop giving it to her automatically. I would also have a long talk with the fiance and make a decision based on whether he's a soon-to-be ex or not.
Yeah, I mean, the fact he's not taken her side in this and like supported
He's not
her.
said anything.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not much about what he was mortified. His daughter burst into tears, but he said that OP stooped to her level and that she needs to apologize because she's just a kid repeating what she hears.
Yeah.
No.
Like, where's the part where he has chastised his daughter for speaking so out of turn and so disrespectfully to someone who's clearly...
To me, it's just he supports it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's embarrassed. I reckon he is embarrassed by what his daughter said, but this is him trying to sort of defend that pride that is his own daughter, being like, I can't excuse what my daughter did, but I can change what you did.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The next sentence after that was, I've told him that I've spent years being disrespected, taking the high road, and maybe the real problem is the 15-year-old walking around thinking that she can say things like that and not get clapped back at. Like, no, the 15-year-old has to get clapped back at. But he has to take initiative as the, solid parental figure in her life. And how about years before this? Why didn't he stop the behavior when it started?
Yeah.
Why didn't he do his job and be like, you're not going to disrespect my partner in our house. That's not on.
Yeah.
There is going to be repercussions if you continue this.
Yeah.
But no, none of that. He's just like, every time the mum's words make it through the daughter's mouth, it's just, you need to just chill out and let her do what she wants.
She's just a child.
She's
like,
just
no,
a kid.
not anymore, man. Come on.
She's like 15 doing it in front of everyone. That's very intentional. That was nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty woman. The dad needs to bring it out and just say like, hey, this 15-year-old, everyone, don't listen to her.
Yeah.
Big dumb brain in this one's head.
Yes. That's the solution. Embarrass the daughter in front of the entire family.
Taste of her own medicine.
Yeah, a bit of slight trauma in her teenage years. So she constantly feels like her father doesn't respect her in front of everyone else. That'll make her grow up to be a really respectful, mature adult.
I'm really good at mediating family situations.
Yeah, if you guys have any issues with your kids at home, contact us. We'll bully them for you. In case they're too confident about something. Yeah.
I just think that an eye for an eye like gives you 20/20 vision. Personally.
It does. You see darkness. You see nothing. You'll perfectly see nothing, which is still
the dad's
seeing perfectly.
Nothing in the vision of this daughter. He's not seeing anything wrong with her behavior.
Yeah, there you go.
Obviously, since it's OP's problem, still to fix.
Yes, and obviously it is OP's problem. It's all OP's fault because she raised this child. herself, basically.
And
Well,
she has
not
a
herself, but
uterus.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Clearly, we are being sarcastic here. Just for the record, we are not being serious. But
yeah.
obviously, it is OP's fault.
This is more of a
Yeah.
wine and vibes kind of stream,
Yeah.
guys.
As everyone knows, the best way to raise a child is with wine and vibes. That's
All
all you
right.
need.
We'll move on to this next story then.
All right. My
All
turn for
right.
stories. Okay.
Jacko reads.
Here we go. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my sister's miracle baby after what she did to my dog? So, my sister, who's 32 female, had a baby last year after years of struggling with infertility. We were all happy for her. She called him her miracle baby, and honestly, I didn't mind the attention he got until things got weird. I, 28 female, have a golden retriever named Benny. He's 5. Sweetest boy alive. Everyone in the family loves him. Even my sister used to until the baby came along. One time, I brought Benny over when I visited. He stayed on his mat, didn't bark or even move. The baby started crying, and my sister went, I think he's making the baby nervous, and asked me to put him outside in the middle of winter. I said no and left early. That was strike 1. Next
Mhm.
time I saw her, she told me straight up she didn't want Benny around her son because he's a dog. I said, okay, whatever, and I stopped bringing him. But I could tell something shifted.
Evil dog.
Yes, evil
That
dog.
he can't be
It's
trusted.
like those cartoons where like the dog or cat or something is secretly evil, like the evil goldfish show.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
He's got a
cartoon.
knife under the fur. He's just holstering
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so then one day I was out of town for a weekend and she begged me to let her stay at my place because hers was getting fumigated. I agreed, thinking it was chill. I come home Sunday night. Benny is hiding under the bed, trembling, looking all scared. I found out she locked him in the laundry room for 2 days straight because he was staring too much and that made the baby fussy. No food or water bowl, just locked him in there. I lost it. I told her she was never setting foot in my house again and that she was lucky I didn't call animal services. Fast forward a month, she's going back to work and suddenly I'm her first choice for free childcare. Wants me to watch her baby 2 days a week. I said no. She flipped and called me bitter and selfish and said I clearly don't understand what it means to love family unconditionally. My mum got involved and said I'm being cruel when I could be helping. But this isn't just about a dog. It's about how she treated something I love without remorse and now expects me to drop everything and help her like nothing happened. Am I the a-hole for saying no to babysitting my nephew because of what she did to my dog?
Why don't we
Mm.
just lock the baby in there for 2
Yeah,
days?
yeah, like the baby starts staring at
know?
you and you feel
Hey,
uncomfortable, lock that
I'm
baby
feeling
up.
a bit queasy with this baby looking at me like that. I
Mhm.
think he needs to go in the dungeon for 2
I mean, and you
days.
were trying to be a good child carer. You gave it
Yeah.
some wine, gave it some vibes, and it's just staring at you now. Really weird.
The wine and
Lock that
vibes.
baby up.
Hey, the baby's gonna find some wine and vibes in the bathroom. We lock it in there for 2 days. That's for sure.
I look, there is a part of me that can understand slightly
Mm.
what sort of switch flipped for the sister here. Because, miracle baby, she's naturally going to be absolutely pedantic about anything that even gives the slightest idea to her that this baby could be in trouble. I mean, golden retriever, the idea of a golden retriever ever attacking and harming a baby, I'm sure it happens, but it's like, about the
Mm.
size of my confidence in myself.
I think there's like
And
some golden retrievers have like a bad attitude, but it's a very small percentage of them.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like you'll know if the golden
Yeah.
retriever's like that.
A golden retriever that also sits down when it's told to and stays there and doesn't bark or even move, I'm pretty sure that's not the kind that's going to attack a baby. So,
Mhm, mhm.
despite this mother having that understandable sort of motherly fear, especially with a miracle baby that they're struggling to have,
Yep.
still doesn't excuse it.
It's just lots of fear mongering around dogs
Yeah.
when it comes to kids. It's like you
Mm.
see so many dogs just get given away because they're like, well, we have kids now and we know this dog's great, but it's going to maul our baby to death. So
Yeah.
off to the kill shelter it goes.
It's such a
It's
shame.
insane
Yeah.
how common it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adopts, don't shop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like on to this story, like why was the dog in there for 2 days? Like actual
2
sociopath,
days.
if not psychopathic behavior.
That's a good point. You
Mm,
really think about 2 days being locked in a room, especially when you're an animal that doesn't have the brain capacity of a human. It wouldn't understand why it's being locked in there. It would
mm.
just think it's being, yeah, just carted away.
Well,
It won't know when it can be let out again.
but they don't have a good sense of time, dogs, either.
No.
They'll just be like, "It's been 10 years,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
in
God.
here."
Oh, the way they act when you get home after like leaving for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But,
Oh,
I don't know, I've seen examples something similar to this happen in my life before, and now I just attribute that person to, like, absolute psychopathy, if not,
yeah.
like, put it down to sociopathy. I'm like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't trust them to look after a kid. If they
Yeah.
can do that to a dog, I do not trust them around a child.
That's a good
Like,
point.
that person needs to be monitored and, like,
Yeah.
kept under check. If they can so easily be like, "Well, a dog is not a human, they have no value to me," and
Oh.
it's like, "Let's check under their floorboards. How many bodies have they got hiding under
Oh
there?"
my God. Yes.
That is a murderer waiting to happen.
I feel it's like that whole idea where everyone should work at least a 6 months in like hospitality or customer service as like a test as to whether
Mhm.
or not they can actually be a decent human being. I feel it's the same with animals. If someone isn't capable of showing care and love towards an animal,
Yep.
they're that kind of person that yeah has that sociopathic like psychopathic tendencies. I mean, it's commonly known that usually that early signs of a child having psychopathic or serial killer drive is that they harm animals just as a fun experiment of sorts. It's
Yeah, you see in the true crime stories all the time.
yeah.
They're just like,
Mm.
little Jimmy's always down by the river skinning frogs.
Oh
He's just
god.
a silly little guy, that one.
Oh my. He's just a silly little creature.
Yeah,
Oh.
you can say that again.
Oh. Let's read some comments though.
Yeah.
Obviously, quite a lot of support towards the OP here. Not the a hole. What she did to Benny is horrible. You trusted her with him, and she locked him and didn't even give him food or water. Also, she has no right to claim your time anyway. And that's, yeah, another great point of the whole claiming of time.
Mhm.
You chose to have the child. It's understandable to reach out for help. That's good. You shouldn't force yourself to raise the child on your own if you don't feel you're capable of doing so. But you're also not entitled to everyone else's time, whether they're friends or family. You
Yep.
can ask, but
They
they say
seem
no.
allergic to paying for childcare services. It's always like
That's a
this.
good
They're
point.
always allergic to childcare
Yeah,
services.
yeah, that's a good
Mhm.
point. Mm-hmm.
Why spend money when we can guilt people in our lives who we've done horrible things to,
Mm,
into just continuing the gravy train? Thank you
yeah.
very much for your services. Yeah.
Ah.
Any other good comments down there?
Not really. I mean, mostly are all pretty much being the same idea. Like, there's one saying, like, where are you supposed to go watch the baby? Her house, or will she drop him off at your house? If it's your house that
Mhm.
you're supposed to watch the baby at, it sounds irresponsible on her end to drop off her baby at a house with a
With a
dog or
dog in
animal that she
it.
doesn't trust.
What the dog
That's what I was.
doing?
The dog is
Yeah.
plotting. Dog is plotting
Uh-huh.
revenge. So that's
Evil
what.
dog.
Yeah. My paranoia is kicking in. I can see her saying that your dog tried to harm the baby in your care, etc. It just sounds like a big mess. Like, either way, her actions from the get-go have just proven that there's no way you can't even trust to take care of the child for your sake. You can't
Mm.
trust how she'll respond to the way you do it.
Yeah, because she comes home and she's like, "What's the dog doing
Yeah,
here?
yeah, yeah. It was
Get rid of it."
dog should be locked away, or if you do something that wasn't her to her liking, she can
Mhm.
use that as being like, oh, you did that on purpose because of the way I treated your dog.
Mhm.
And it just you've already got this sourness, and not the nice souring like a lolly, like a sour lolly. It's like a bad sour, like
A
an off
warhead.
lemon. Which actually, hang on,
Yeah,
no,
not a
that's
good
terrible.
sourness of a warhead.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
Mhm.
a sour lemon that's off isn't really sour anymore, so that doesn't make any sense.
Is it not?
I'm
I
pretty
didn't
sure
know
it's not.
that.
I don't know. I have to eat an
We'll have
off
to go
lemon.
get one.
Yeah, do an experiment. We'll find out next week if a sour lemon that's off is no longer sour, folks.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, for now,
Sounds good
though.
to me. I'm looking forward to that. I get Jack sick on the pod.
Yeah, great start.
He isn't sick in the head enough. Yeah. Okay. Next
Mhm.
story by
Yeah.
Blissful Rush. It was posted 2 days ago. It's titled, "Am I the asshole for destroying my best friend's proposal because I believed that she was being kidnapped?"
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
What's wrong with you?
Yes.
What? Just let it kind of woman get kidnapped in peace. Like,
It's 2025, folks.
come on, guys.
That crime doesn't happen anymore.
Everything is just a social experiment.
We fixed the patriarchy. It doesn't exist.
Have we not learned? So, this actually happened last weekend, and I'm still shaking. They've been shaking the whole time, dude. My best friend Emily, 29 female, has been dating her boyfriend Chris, 31 male, for about 4 years. I, 28 female, love her to death, And I've always supported their relationship, even though Chris is eccentric. He loves surprises and stuff. Think flash mobs and scavenger hunts that no one asked for.
No, the
What's
fact it says
wrong?
no one asked for makes me really afraid for like his friend group because that does sound like a fun person. But if you're not the kind of person who's into that stuff,
No.
that would be miserable to deal
Where
with.
is he finding flash mobs? How does he have enough people in his life? Is it like a 5-person flash mob? Because they're usually like
Maybe.
30 people just like bust out dancing.
Maybe he's one of those rare people
Mm-hmm.
in our generation that has like a lot of friends, like more than 3.
Could never be me.
Nah, that's
Hell no.
insane. It's too exhausting.
You
How do
guys want to
keep up
come
with
do
them
a
all?
flash mob with me sometime that no one asked for, by the way? Let's go.
It might be cringe. A lot of people probably won't like it and just stare at you weirdly. It'll be so much fun.
This is going to be such a good time. We're going to do a kidnapping prank for the wedding.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I was visiting Emily. We were
Okay.
we were walking around catching up when this unmarked white van comes up next to us. 2 masked men jump out and grab her. She begins screaming. I freak out. So I did what any sane, frightened human would do. I grabbed my pepper spray, which is legal where I am, and yelled bloody murder and went wild.
Yes!
I sprayed one dude in the face, kicked
Yes!
another in the shin, and
Yes!
literally pulled Emily back by the coat while yelling for 911. Turned out it was Chris and 2 of his buddies. They were attempting this strange prank kidnapping and a surprise proposal situation because Emily wanted a proposal like in the movies.
What? What movie?
What movie?
What movie does
What movie
that?
are you talking about? What movie? Since when?
It's her favorite movie, Taken.
Yeah. I will find you and I will propose to you.
He goes, I've been practicing a Liam Neeson voice for the last 6 months.
And you just ruined
You
it.
ruined everything.
So
Oh
Chris
my
was
God.
yelling, crying over the pepper spray. Emily was scared while the cops arrived. It was chaotic. Now Chris is angry. He tells me that I ruined the most significant moment of their lives and embarrassed him in front of everyone. Emily tells me she understands why I freaked out, but wishes that I'd read the room.
What? What room? Hey, Emily.
Literally read the room, man. Just like, let me get kidnapped in peace. Like, it was obviously
Okay.
a prank, bro.
There better be some info in the comments that it turns out Emily is a huge like smut fan or something, because then that's the
We've had a
only
few of
excuse I
those.
give her. That like if OP knows that Emily is a huge fan of kidnapping romance novel stuff,
Mhm.
that's the only excuse she gets.
So, but like, how was I going to know? It seemed real. She was crying. They had masks and it was a literal van. Everyone's acting like I overreacted, but I genuinely thought she was being trafficked. Am I the asshole for spoiling the proposal?
Oh my goodness.
Read the room? Read the room?
They're not even in a room. They're outside. There was no room to read.
Like, that's like call the cops level situation.
Yeah. I mean,
I-
if anything, like, okay, if I was Chris, the one proposing.
Yeah, Chris.
If I was Chris, I would love and really appreciate the OP here for like just proving how safe you can trust Emily to be around OP. Because if something goes down, OP's putting on that feminine rage and she's going for the neck. It was beautiful.
Well, I'm
Like,
surprised they didn't have a gun, you know?
oh jeez.
This sounds like it's in America. It's like they say it's legal to have the pepper spray here. Like, how are you gonna like go through this and be like, hey, I just started shooting.
So anyway, I started blasting.
I started blasting.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the room, from what I can tell, the room consisted of a white van. Sorry.
van.
This room consisted of 2 white men. With
Oh, there you go.
masks.
Justified.
And 3 masked men trying to take a woman off the street. The woman is screaming, "What more is there to read?"
Yeah.
Sorry,
like,
you ruined the engagement, OP.
nah.
You're
Like,
an asshole, buddy.
I would say, Chris, if you wanted to make this work, you should have informed OP. Like, you should have been like, hey,
Mhm.
I just want you to know, because you'll probably be hanging out with her this day. Like, check, do your subtleties. Try to find out when Emily's hanging out with certain people and what day you're going to do it. Make sure if she's with someone, that person knows.
Mm.
Because, again, like, you can't blame OP for this. There's no way you can.
No.
This is a good
Give-
Samaritan like situation here.
Yeah, I
It
mean, you can have the big surprise, right, if you let OP
mm,
know and
yeah,
say, "We're gonna do something really insane today, something crazy is gonna happen, just so you know."
yeah,
Obviously, don't tell her anything because this is her surprise, so that
mm,
you don't freak out. There's gonna be a van that comes up next to you, something really crazy is gonna happen.
yeah,
Boom, sorted. This
yeah,
situation doesn't happen,
yeah. I
and
mean,
you get the fun kidnap proposal.
like I think of like professional prank shows back in the day when they would do things similar to this. They would literally call up the local police station to inform them, "Hey, letting you know in advance, we plan to do this. We got these sort of permits, blah blah blah. Like we've got this permission from
Mhm,
anywhere we're doing this at. We are going to do some sort of kidnapping thing here. If you get any calls about it, we are the ones doing it. This is all our details, how it's going to happen. So like they are aware. Like that's you've got to
mhm.
prepare for this stuff. This is the real world. This
Yep.
like I don't know. Chris maybe is someone who's lived a sheltered life and doesn't know that actual kidnappings and human trafficking happens. So maybe he's not aware that this
You'd
stuff
be
actually
pretty,
happens in real life. I don't know. It's
blissfully ignorant for a 31-year-old to not
oh yeah, he's
realize that.
31 too. That's right. God.
Yeah, and they've been dating for 4 years, so
Oh,
you'd think in that time he's watched his fair share of true crime docos and
I
had a
mean,
good idea to how to do it.
yeah, it's probably what
Mm,
inspired him because they were watching some true crime and
yep.
she was clearly loving this true crime story. So he's like, oh, you know what? Let's make her dream show become a reality. When I mean, half the time these women watch these true crime shows because they know these things are scary and they happen to them in real life. So it's like their way of sort of normalizing it to them. So if it does happen, they're like sort of prepared
Mhm.
mentally of it possibly happening. It's kind of a dark reason. I know it's not the only reason, but I know for some people it's like a safety
We
thing.
know, like, some of the reasons why they're into this, but, like,
Oh yeah, like there's some women with some
you guys
weird.
some weirdos out there.
Yeah,
Look
you're
at
weird.
you.
I
Look.
like us males. Us
We're
males are
so cool and
saints.
normal. We
Yes.
read Reddit.
We only
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah, so I don't know. Bad execution, bad
Mm,
communication all around. OP's still shaking to this day, as
yeah.
they said.
Mm.
I have nothing much else to add. I want a proposal like this myself, Jack.
Yeah?
I don't know about you, but
Look, I
who doesn't
mean,
want to be kidnapped?
I think well, yeah, I'll do the same thing. I think my proposal, I'll just blow up a building. Um, yeah, but like it'll be
Just like
confetti.
literally read the room. It's all over the
Yeah.
place.
You'll easily be able to read the room if it's everywhere.
Yeah, like come on, man, it was obvious.
Now the building will be abandoned, of course.
It's all over you. Like,
yeah.
read the room. It's right there.
Pick up like a burnt cinder block. Read it. Read this. Can you
What
not
does
see?
it say?
It's safe. It was
The
all safe.
numbers, Mason.
You were safe. Okay, you were tied up. You were stuck to the foundations of the building. It was all
Mhm.
going to collapse around you, and it would all crumble and fall down and say, "Will you marry me?" That's what all the bricks would have fallen down to say. I was romantic. I don't know why she broke up with me.
Can't tell, dude.
Oh,
Hell
women.
nah.
They just don't make it. I don't know how to understand them.
They got crazy high standards these
Oh
days.
yeah, yeah.
It just don't be working like that. Us real alpha male grind set.
Oh god,
Yeah.
shut up. Shut up. Okay.
Next story, guys. It's gonna be so much better.
I just saw the title. Okay.
Mhm.
Here we go. Let's be
Lock
serious.
in.
Lock
Okay, well,
in.
I'm locked in.
Here we go. Am I the a-hole for getting my coworker fired over his repeated visible dick print?
What's wrong with that? He's just a guy chilling.
No.
He's just chilling.
Okay. I'm curious about this, what exactly this means. I, 19 female, am interning part-time and we all dress casually. I was alone in a room at my office one morning and my coworker Josh, late 20s, male, came and started chatting with me. When I turned to face him, I could clearly see the outline of his erection.
Oh God.
He was wearing thin sweatpants, and they left nothing to the imagination. I didn't say anything. After he left, I just went back to work. I ignored it that first time, but it kept happening. Josh would come alone to chat, and each time he was visibly hard, and I could see it through his flimsy shorts or sweatpants or thin dress pants. Like he didn't even act embarrassed or try to hide it. He'd just stand there like it's nothing. He acts normal around everyone else, and this hasn't happened any other time I've seen him, not with others around, just when it's only us. I didn't bring it up to anyone yet. I just didn't want to appear dramatic and didn't want to make myself a target. Then he started making comments. It's hot out. I had to wear these shorts today. One day, Josh came over and he asked me to come to his apartment nearby over lunch. I politely declined, and as he was leaving, he said, "All right, I've got to go to the bathroom to take care of something. See you around," while glancing down. He clearly
Yo!
had an erection,
Stop!
and the outline was clear. Man, I was ready to
Send
consider.
him to jail.
Yeah, I was ready to consider some things here, but that immediately was like, okay, it's obvious. This has not at all been some case of just ignorance. And yeah, okay.
Ew.
That was it for me. I went to HR and reported everything. HR put Josh under review and he ended up being fired with cause. Now some of my
Yeah.
coworkers are icing me out. One of my coworkers sarcastically muttered out, "I made sure to wear proper pants today. Didn't want anyone to get any ideas," while I was having lunch near some of them, and they laughed. My boss has been talking to me less, and I feel alienated. I just wanted Josh to stop. Am I the a-hole here? So,
And now I'm blasting the gun of hostile work environment. Bam, bam,
God.
bam, bam.
yeah, straight up hostile work environment there. I'm
Mhm.
going to pretty obvious to assume that that coworker was a guy, and this has clearly just turned into a very sexist
Yeah,
workplace.
imagine a woman saying that. Oh,
Like-
I can't wear my sweatsuit without the camel toe coming out a little bit.
See,
What's going on?
where I was thinking with this at
Uh.
first was maybe there was some situation where, because yeah, there's some women coworkers who don't wear bras to work, and some guys find that distracting. Some women find it distracting too. Hell, it's
Mhm.
this idea that only guys find nipples noticeable. No, women find it noticeable too. There's not just straight people in the world.
Preach
but-
it, Jack.
Yeah, but like it's still a case where it's your body. You shouldn't be ashamed of you having a body. But in this case, this wasn't just someone having a bulge.
He should have some shame, yeah.
Well, he had an erection. There's a big difference between having an erection and just having a noticeable bulge.
Mhm.
And the moment he made it obvious with the whole, "Oh, I have to wear these shorts today," and invited her to his apartment, all that stuff, it made it even more clear that this was not just someone who was very comfortable in these clothes, and they, just some people are born with a big package, and but yeah, this was just someone who clearly was trying to show off his goods
Yeah.
and who clearly didn't want it.
Well, HR, it was enough for HR to fire him.
Yeah,
Like, what
clearly
else
this
do
wasn't
the
only
coworkers
case.
want?
Yeah, I honestly reckon this wasn't the only situation he's been called in for. Maybe.
Yeah, there's probably like hella people before him
Yeah.
that have had this come up against them.
Yeah.
Enough that HR, like, so fast
Yeah.
were able to fire him.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't sound like it was over weeks or months.
Yeah.
This sounded like it happened in like maybe 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And straight away they had enough. They're like, this is the final straw.
Yeah,
All right, let's
yeah.
get this deviant out of here.
Like, I don't know about other sort of workplaces, but like I've definitely been in workplaces where it seemed to have taken like at least 4 or 5 HR meetings to finally tell someone they're like, "Okay, you need to quit. Like, you need to
Mhm.
leave because this is too many times where this sort of things happen." Look, comments, obviously full in support there. Sounds 100% intentional. Gross behavior, absolutely not the a-hole. Dude's a menace. And yeah, like, guys, learn how to hide their erections in junior high. He was definitely wanting you to notice. That is so true.
Well, of course it was intentional.
Yeah, when you get puberty, like, you don't want people to see that. It's embarrassing.
Like, he's coming up to her like, let's go back to my place,
Oh,
baby.
God, yeah.
Look at what I got packing down here. Okay, you don't want to come? I got to go deal with this in the bathroom myself. I got something to take care of.
That's
It's
again,
like-
that's the thing too. It's like, it's one thing to be like, okay, cool, you don't want to come back to the apartment. Like, that again, still HR worthy because you're trying to create a relationship in the workplace. You got to declare those sort of things because of that issue. But the fact he immediately insinuated he was going to touch himself afterwards.
Yeah, I got something to take care
Like,
of after this.
Even again, this is one of the things. Again, it's like, it doesn't matter if it was a man or woman. The fact someone does that to a coworker, that's inappropriate in general. There's no. I don't know, 'cause
it's like-
I feel like reading these sort of stories, you are going to get those 1 or 2 people who'd be like, "Oh, well, if it was a woman, nah, nah, nah." Like, no,
it's like all those
would it
people
make a difference?
No, on the posts where it's like a woman, like sex offender, has had sex with a student, and all the
Oh.
comments are like, "Where were those teachers when I was in school?"
God, I
actually,
hate those people.
nice.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the similar situation. They're like, "Well, I wouldn't have a problem if a woman coworker was coming on to me."
Now, speaking of this sort of mentality, let's read some people who have that sort of mentality.
Oh, yeah, some
someone
commenters.
accusing OP here. I mean, why did you stare at his crotch? Mm.
When you're putting it in my face, it's hard to like.
I mean,
And
yeah, but you
not-
still looked. You could have gouged your eyes out,
You could have just removed the eyes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
going blind will really solve a lot of problems for you here.
Mm. Oh, this is
Mhm.
beautiful. Okay, hang on. Okay. I got it. This is just entertaining to read. Someone, yeah, saying that this is disgusting behavior, blah, blah, blah. Someone responds, a man lost his job, honey. Have some class. If the genders were reversed, you would be upset.
No, I wouldn't actually. Have some class. Come on, have some tact here.
Someone responds, hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
That is, yeah, that is beautiful.
That's
yeah.
it?
You do get some people saying that that OP might have been overreacting because what if he just had a big schlong? Again, that doesn't matter the moment he said that, okay, well, I'm going to take care of something now in the bathroom. Like that, it doesn't matter what size it was now. That's the issue. The issue was he was being blatantly harassing? Is that enough the word here? Yeah?
Hijack.
Yeah. Whoa. Take what you
That's-
need. All right.
I thought it was that's the response to that last one. I was like, what's going on? Like, that's the response? Just, hi, Josh.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is going on? So am I going to
Oh.
complain whenever I see a woman with visible cleavage comes to me? That's not
No,
an
that's
argument.
not the
That's not an
same.
argument. She's not putting a
Gosh.
cleavage in your face
Yeah,
being like,
but
I'm going to go
even if it
deal
was,
with
even if
this.
it was a push-up bra, it's still a huge difference between like, "Hi, how are you?" versus, "Oh, you don't want to come back to my apartment? Well,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom for a quick second, if you know what I
If you
mean."
know what I'm talking, if you catch my drift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play with these drums, if you know what I mean.
Bang the bongos. But no, like, it was a constant violation. Like, it just kept
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like they're saying, oh, the woman did it this one time. Yeah, if she kept doing it to me, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, that would still be uncomfortable. It's
Get away from me.
end of the day, it doesn't matter if it was a woman doing it. If it's a woman that you are not attracted to and are not appreciating her doing it, you have every right to also go to HR. It's okay. We could go on for ages about this.
Mm-hmm. Preach.
Yep,
Preach, Jack. All right, this one has an update. And it is 5 days apart. So this one was posted 5 days ago.
Okay.
My 27 female, ex 27 male, dumped me in January after 9 years together because he didn't think that I was wife material. Now he reached out wanting to talk because he needs to get something off his chest, and I don't know why he's doing this or if I should meet him. I was with my ex, who I will call Nate, because if I'm being honest, minus betraying a friend, I was a Cassie. What is
That
that?
is a reference to
mean?
something?
Nate and a Cassie. I don't know the reference.
Okay, you keep reading.
That
I'm
is
gonna
a
look up the
reference.
reference.
I don't want to go into much detail, but for the last 9 years, I lost myself to Nate. 9 years? Didn't it say 9 months?
No, 9 years. They were
Nine,
together for
9
9
years.
years.
Yeah, I lost myself to Nate. He was my world. He was everything that I did was for him. I helped him through depression, help get/keep his grades up, even worked 2 jobs so he could focus on college when his parents disowned him for nearly 3 years because they didn't agree with the major or college that he chose. Bear in mind, I was also a college student.
Ah.
When his parents started talking to him again and started to financially support him, we moved into a new apartment. Nate said he wanted me to quit my job. I didn't because it was his turn to take care of me. For 16 months, everything was great. He spoiled me, and then I noticed he was more interested in his new friends at times. And he was more interested in his new friends, and at times he ignored me completely.
Ooh.
Back in December, he did a 180 and he love bombed me the whole month. He really went out of his way to make Christmas magical for me. I honestly believed he was going to propose on January the 2nd. He made me my favorite dinner and made this whole speech about me being his first love, how I've been there since high school, and I kept thinking any minute now he's going to ask me to marry him. But no, he dumped me, and as his speech went on, my world fell apart, and as much as he tried to sugarcoat it, he basically said, "You were a good girlfriend, but that's what you always will be. That's what you always be to that's what you'll always be to me, a girlfriend. I don't see you as my wife or the mother of my children, blah blah blah. You served your purpose. Now I don't need you anymore, blah blah. I need someone on my level, blah blah. You're a gold digger, blah. I'll give you 30 days to move out."
Oh, I feel this in every inch of my body. That just does the cringe.
I caught myself monologuing again.
I just want to say I discovered the reference. I'm sure people watching this already know it. It's Cassie and Nate from Euphoria. these two characters, which I'll just to
Uh-huh.
quote a line from them each apparently on this Wikipedia. Cassie, I love that I'm your secret and I can't tell a soul. Nate, I love how fucking sick you are.
Dude, I love how sick you
You're
are.
sick.
God.
No wonder you think of him as an 8.
I
Jeez.
love taking nose beers with you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, it seems like
So,
a case, yeah, where that Nate's this sort of like toxic guy, but she can't get enough of him, sort of thing. Yeah.
mm,
Okay.
wow, what a man.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
couldn't speak, and he stared at me looking for a response. I think this lasted 20 minutes before he said that he'd sleep in the guest room and then left. Strangely, I didn't cry or get angry. I just ordered cardboard boxes online and then went to bed. The next day, I waited for him to leave the apartment before I left my room. Then I called my boss and I begged really, if I could transfer anywhere. And she told me that there wasn't anything, but if something came up in my department, she would consider me. I then
Mm.
reached out to everyone that I knew that also wasn't Nate's friend for a place to stay. My cousin invited me to stay in her spare room for as long as I needed, and I could move in straight away, so that was amazing. In the 4 days that it took me to pack my stuff and move out, I didn't see or speak to Nate, and I doubt he even noticed. I didn't trust myself that this is a little bit longer. Like
Long
I
story.
didn't trust myself at the time to ignore a "you up" text, so I blocked him and everyone close to him. Then and everyone close to him, even changed my number slash email to make sure that he couldn't reach me. The first night at my cousin's was about what Nate was the night that everything hit me. I think I cried every night the first month. I
Yeah.
honestly felt like shit. I thought about what Nate said over and over again, and it made me feel so low, like I was nothing. He only
Mm.
stayed with me because I was just there, but thankfully, my cousin sent for my mum and other cousins and real friends. So, my cousin sent for my mum, my other cousins, and real friends to give me an intervention, which I badly needed.
Yeah.
I believed that first month I wouldn't have made it without my cousin. I'm still healing and waiting on that job transfer because I feel like if I'm not in the same city as Nate and I have a place of my own, the fresh start would do me the world of good.
Yeah.
I thought by now that I'd be a distant memory for Nate, but shockingly, he sent flowers to my job today for my birthday, which was on Sunday. Apparently, he went to my parents' house looking for me too, and my mum admitted that he's been before dropping off stuff and tried to ask questions about me, but they told him to F off.
Good. Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
as they should. As they should. Okay, three paragraphs left.
Okay.
The flowers the flowers came with a card saying, "Dear Cassie, happy belated birthday. I've been thinking about you for non-stop for the last few months, especially with how everything ended. I need to get something off my chest that I feel will haunt me for the rest of my life if I don't tell you this to your face, but I have no way of contacting you. If it's possible, can we meet up in the near future?" What could he want? What's haunting him that he needs to say to my face? Everyone in my life is telling me to ignore him, but they hate him. I'm torn, but I can't lie. My curiosity is telling me to meet him to see what he wants. Has anyone been in my shoes or in Nate's? And that's it.
Mm.
What is going on?
The only people that have been in Nate's shoes are the kind of people who do things sporadically, especially with relationships, because they either ignorantly or arrogantly don't care actually about how their partner feels. They see them as more just an extension of their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, this is merely a case where he's like, oh, actually, turns out I can't get anything better. So I'm going to go back to you. But
Or
that's love. To me, it's love. But like, that's the horrible thing too, is that like to him, he genuinely probably believes that is what love is
mm,
because he just doesn't know any better. Because he's just that sort of that narcissistic tendency within someone that some people can have. And it's, you know,
mm-hmm.
he's blind in that regard. And yeah, but at the same time, it's like I kind of want to encourage OP to go and meet up with him just so we can find out the little spice of how correct I am in this regard.
I think you'd be a little correct personally. It
Yeah.
seems like, to me, there was someone else that he was eyeing up, see if the grass was greener.
Yeah.
Didn't work out with them
Yeah.
after who knows how long, like 2 months by the looks of it. It's pretty
Yeah.
quick to get rejected from that person. And
Mm.
he's like, "Hey, so you still free?
Yeah.
I didn't lose you completely, did I?"
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
I mean, we get stories like this a lot where it's like couples that have been married for years, decades, and then one of them wants to open up the relationship. More often than not, it's the guy. He's
Mm.
like, let's have an open marriage.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
spice things up a bit because he has his eyes on someone.
Mhm.
And then she starts seeing someone as well. And all of a sudden it's a problem
Yeah.
because, she's getting a lot more attention than him. And a lot of the times his connection crashes and burns. And then the marriage just breaks up and dies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like in this situation, he's, pseudo opened up the relationship, semi opened it up.
Mhm.
He's gotten what he wanted, didn't work. He's trying to close it back up again.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go back to sunshine and daisies like it
Yeah.
was before.
Yeah, back to the love bombing.
Get me my
Yeah.
cash cow. Get me my, go work 2 jobs for me again. It's going to be
Yes.
sick this time. It's going to be even better than it was
Ugh.
before.
Yeah.
And
That
it's
really
just not
sounds
going
like
to
that.
work.
Yeah. The only sort of, again, the whole just like devil's advocate of sorts where trying to figure out, hey, maybe if he's trying to, maybe there's some innocence to this. Maybe he is reaching out because he actually genuinely wants to apologize. And maybe he has learned
Hmm.
somehow that just some epiphany occurred to him. Maybe his own parents sort of knocked some sense into him, making him realize to stop acting like this, following this Andrew Tate, tater tot, brain rot bull less. And, that actually you are ready to settle down and you just threw away the most genuine, worthwhile person in your life.
It just doesn't happen much,
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
just unfortunately a very rare thing. And if that was the case, he shouldn't have approached it with flowers, being like, "Hey, I miss you," blah blah blah. It should have been like some sort of open letter thing to her that she can take or leave, and she has full freedom herself to make the choice to reconnect again, and not actually, you know, beg to see her again. It's like, "Hey, I want to let you know I was wrong in everything I said and did. I don't
Hmm.
deserve your forgiveness, but if you would like to see me again, here's my details."
You'd think
Like,
he'd pour your heart out a bit more. He gave her 3 sentences,
yeah,
essentially. 3
yeah.
sentences to be like, "Man, I feel really bad. Can we meet up?
Yeah, that's the like it
Can we
should have
meet
been
up?"
it should have shown so much more, and it doesn't, which is why it's hard for me to even think maybe he is innocent.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think he's innocent. I don't
no,
think he's done anything good in this instance, and nothing good
yeah,
will come of it. Yeah, and I think the parents should have not even told OP that he
yeah,
had
that's a good point.
flowers. I
They
think
should
the
have just thrown them
parents.
away.
I mean, it's one of those lessons that you got to learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah,
But like the 27 and 26, like if she doesn't know, I guess it's been 9 years.
yeah. I was gonna say too. Like, well,
It's been 9
she is
years.
still an adult, and I feel like she probably still has a right to know whether or not, so she can make the adult choice herself rather than a parent sort of,
Hmm.
babying her, regardless of if it's for her health and safety. Isn't there an update though?
There is an update, but
Okay.
I just wanted to ramble on a bit about
Yeah,
it
no,
a
no.
little bit
Yeah,
longer.
it's
But
great.
yeah, I just thought, the parents would be like, let's just not let her interact. We know he's bad. This is our way to keep
Mm.
him out. If I was the parent, I'd just be like, oh, actually, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, though. She probably needs the closure.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
My
It's like,
cynical side wants to be like, let's just completely stonewall this
yeah,
relationship.
yeah,
Then she'd be
yeah.
pissed off. She's like,
See,
he
that's what
what?
yeah,
He what? And you kept it from me?
yeah, yeah. That's
Okay.
the
The intrusive thoughts won, and I'd had to put them back. Put them back in the box.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So, on to the update. So, we ended up meeting, and no, I didn't go to him. I
Aw.
had told the receptionist at my work if he came looking for me, just to say that I'm out for the day after he showed up once. I didn't
Oh.
want the drama of him around my job. So Nate just kept going to my usual places, like the grocery store that I go to every Saturday evening, or the park that I ran Sunday mornings, his words, until he would eventually run into me. Just a bit of casual stalking, you know?
Yeah. But it happens in
Uh,
romance movies, so it's romantic.
That's it.
Those movies that are written by men, about their
Hmm.
fantasy of how they, like, would have wished they approached the women they liked? Yeah.
If you just keep stalking them, they'll eventually love you.
Yeah.
That's a normal thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And he did yesterday. He was waiting at the coffee shop that I go to after my morning run. When I saw him, I tried to turn around and leave, but he kept calling me. So I thought to myself, if everything went pear shaped, a coffee shop would be safer than my walk home. So I just
Yeah.
sat down and asked him what he wanted. He gave me an apology that wasn't an apology. You know, the type with the I'm sorry, but and pity me. He blamed his mental health, his job, his parents, his friends, everyone but himself. I took
Oh.
someone's advice on here and I said, cut the crap. I already know everything. And he genuinely looked shocked and stared at me for a second. And I guess he thought that his coworker already told me everything, so he couldn't lie. Here's what really happened. He fell for a girl in his office when he told me that her name, I knew her immediately.
You were
I've met her
right.
a few times. Yeah. He told me for the last 2 years he has idolized her. To be fair, she's beautiful with an amazing personality, and he hated me because I was the one stopping them from being together because his coworker was too classy to be a side piece.
Oh my god.
What a cool guy. What a cool guy. What a normal thing to say to your love of 9 years. Sorry, this woman, she's too
Sorry, because
classy to be a side piece.
this man who's all about trying to get a wife, that's something you have for the long haul.
Mhm.
And yet here's how he treats someone who he's had for the long haul.
That's his side piece of 9 years, all right? Look, don't let your girlfriend stop you from finding a wife. That's it. When he broke up with me, he confessed to her that he was madly in love with her, and he ended a 9-year relationship to be with her. Which,
Oh.
that's what everyone wants you to do. Don't cheat.
Yeah.
There's a bit of emotional cheat. That was the right thing to do, but now he's come crawling back to OP. Like, you're going to get the
It's-
slap that you deserve in this one, buddy.
Yeah, it's one of those weird, ironic things that we think he's scum for what he's done, but at the same time, at least he didn't cheat. At least he was
Yeah.
just blatantly like, hey, this is my selfish thoughts. I'm saying them right directly to you, so you are aware. Perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. I can
Kinda-
respect the honesty.
Yeah, kind of gotta hey, points to
Yeah.
that.
And he's like, you know what? I don't respect you as a person,
Yeah.
and I respect her
him
as
for
a
saying
person.
that.
Yeah, so I'm out, and for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah. No deal.
Sorry, sharks. You're not getting this one today. Well, here's where it gets funny. She doesn't even like him, lol. She called him a piece of trash and told him.
I assumed they would have at least tried for a little bit. Damn. She just straight up.
And told him that
Wow.
if he ever spoke to her outside of work, she'd report him to HR. So I asked him, what has any of this got to do with me? Like, we are over. I clearly cut ties. There's no reason for us to speak. He wants to try again. He promised we'd get married before the year ends and that we belong together. I told him I'm nobody's second choice. He threw me away after 9 years and said some pretty cruel things to me. And now he thinks that if he snaps his fingers, I'll come running back. He tried to beg and gave me some crocodile tears, bringing the good times back into our relationship. I told him, please leave me alone, as he's wasted too much of my time already. I texted my cousin to meet me at the coffee shop, and he kept saying nonsense and even suggested if I went to couples counseling for a few months, he'd leave me alone for the 20 minutes it took for my cousin to arrive. If I went to couples counseling for a few months, he would leave me alone. They didn't put a full stop here. It's a run-on
Okay.
sentence.
Yeah.
The 20 minutes it took for my cousin to arrive felt like 20 years. In the end, I just stopped listening and stood at the counter making small talk with the baristas until my cousin arrived.
Just visualize that. Just some guy groveling, being all like a full-on tantrum of sorts in a coffee
Get a load
shop.
of this guy.
Yeah. just do you want another coffee? Is that what you like? Yeah, let's make you another coffee there.
So anyway,
Yeah.
the plant here
Yeah,
right now
yeah,
has gone
meanwhile,
a bit crazy.
as she's
Is there
talking
any other
there-
questions over here?
Yeah, just some guy over here. please don't
So, crazy weather we've been having today.
Oh,
huh? Oh, him? Don't mind him.
yeah, it's just,
I don't know him. I don't know what's going on with
Please,
him.
I just made a big choice.
What's the
You have
deal
to
with
forgive
airplane
me.
food?
Just start turning into like a stand-up comic act while there's a guy groveling on the side of the stage.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So in the end, I just stopped listening, stood at the counter, making small talk with the baristas till the cousin arrived. She told him to piss off, and if he tried to follow us, she'd call her brothers. He stayed in the coffee shop, as far as I know, and we just went home. That's it. It's only been a day, but I feel like it's over and that I'm free of him. As the coworker doesn't even see him like that.
Yeah.
What, 2 years being in love with this woman.
Wow.
Stalks OP, and just to tell her, yeah, there was never even anything there. you know?
Yeah.
I did all this for nothing. Let's get back together.
Oh my god.
We're going to get married before the end of this year after I just completely derailed us.
It's hilarious because he clearly is someone who seems to think that
Put the
like
mic towards your mouth more.
oh sorry. Yep.
It's-
My mic I'm
if you're
speaking
gonna,
this way.
If you're gonna speak this way, move
Yep.
the mic like out
Yep,
into
there we
your
go.
mouth a
There?
bit more. Yeah,
There
yeah,
we go.
yeah. Sorry,
I'm
sorry,
learning.
guys.
I'm learning, folks. Be patient
Mic
with me.
technique.
Yeah, mic technique. You'd think I'd know this stuff as someone who like does film work.
No,
Anyway, I'll learn.
terrible.
Yeah, I'm terrible at this. What was it? The like you'd think someone who like is all about the whole marriage and wedding stuff. He'd actually understand there's a human being component to it. Like he clearly sees her as nothing just like a like, oh, you just want to get married because you're a woman. Woman wants marriage. I will
Mhm.
give you marriage. Like he thinks that's all it is.
It's it. There's a
Mm,
checkbox.
yeah, that's all it is to him.
I just have to say the right words and she'll all
Yeah.
be mine.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
my sister actually dated someone for a while who was like this, where he was very rich, giving her all this kind of stuff, and she's not a gold digger type. She's very well independent, but she was like, well, he
Wait,
enjoys
she's not
doing
a
this.
gold digger with a uterus?
No, apparently not. Apparently
Expectations
not. Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah, it's crazy. You'd
Mhm.
think, but she's woman, so what? Anyway,
That's it.
breaks the mold. Go
Real
sister.
go-getter.
Yeah.
That one.
Anyway, yeah, but he would like, flash her with all this kind of stuff. He was offering all these things. And he was like, like one day he was just like, so when are you going to quit your job so that you can start having kids?
It was a hold
And
up.
yeah. And
Wait
it's
a
like, cause like,
second.
I was, cause she was like 29 at the time, I think it was. Yeah.
Mhm.
She's like, yeah, it's, you got 1 year left in you.
What?
And,
You got 1 year left? What do you mean
like
by
he
that?
said, apparently he said this so like just so when are you gonna go to the dentist? Because you're like you're due to go to the dentist. It was like that sort of energy of just hey,
Is he saying
this
there's
is
1
coming
year
up.
left before she can't have kids anymore? Or like, was that
Like
what he meant by
insinuating that like
that?
after that it's like not worth it. It's too late, sort of thing. Because
But she's about to turn 30.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And he was like, we need to start having kids.
Okay.
Like
I'm not,
I'm like I want to get you married next
like,
year.
so when's the
And
breakup happening?
yeah,
Like,
no, oh, she broke up with him like
yeah,
straight
yeah,
after that
yeah.
conversation. Basically, she was like, I no, we clearly
Holy shit.
yeah, like
And it's like, do I
he's
need
just
to check your brain real
well,
quick?
yeah,
Like, what's
he
going on in
was
there?
so surprised. Apparently, it was just like, but this, and this, like that's what we're meant to do. Like he didn't even
Mhm.
see the relationship as a relationship. It was more just like I need to do this because I've been told I'm meant to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange, very
But,
strange for
like
her.
last week's episode, it's like, you're autistic.
Yeah,
And,
oh,
like
that's
that
right.
one.
I
And it's
forgot
like,
about that one.
you're so, like that's a situation where, obviously this is a joke, guys, but
Yes.
like,
Oh.
if she yelled at him in that situation, I'd be like, you know what? Spitting some facts.
Yeah,
Yo.
look.
Actually.
I mean,
No.
this was in I think it was in Canberra, which is like in Australia, that's our state territory where it's our like political capital of Australia. It's where our parliament is, our main
Mhm.
government and stuff. So not surprising that it would be those kind of people where it's just like
Yeah,
just
by the
money,
books.
job
All right.
money.
When am I
Yeah.
putting the baby in you and you're going to be barefoot and pregnant in
Yeah.
our house? That's
Yeah.
the one,
Yeah.
What do you mean its life's not a rigorous structure?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
What?
what do you mean that you are a human being with your own wants and ambitions? You
We're
are
in Politician Central here.
Yeah, you're just meant to do this for me for my own career as a politician. Yeah.
I don't blame her for breaking up with him in that
Yeah.
instance.
Hmm.
No, hell
Hmm.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very reminiscent of this story. Where he didn't just break up with her, say, hey, so I went after a coworker that I've been in love with for
Yes.
2 years. And let's get back together and just chop chop.
Yeah, if it doesn't
Time's
work,
running
I'll
out.
get back to you. But for now, we just need to wrap things up here. If you could just get out of here, because I want to hopefully bang her tomorrow.
And it's like, well, I won't be
Um,
wrapping it up when I'm putting the baby in you, but like that's a story for
Oh
another
my
day,
God.
brother.
The fact you say you're not wife material, you're just a girlfriend. Like,
come
it's
on,
one thing to
brother.
fall out of love with someone. It's one thing
Mhm.
to be like, hey, I've been, you've talked to them about how they have some behaviors and habits that you feel like we need to work on if we want to be an actual family one day and, mature adults. Okay, like clean up after yourself, that sort of thing. Sure.
Mhm.
But this, like, this was a case of just straight up, I changed my mind about you entirely because I'm horny for someone else.
Pretty much.
Eh,
That like
Wow.
is not reciprocating at all.
No.
And she's like, if I see you outside work and you try to talk to me again, I'm reporting your ass.
Like, how
Stay away from
delusional does
me.
he have to be if he thought he had a chance with someone who would respond like that?
Uh, How did OP not see this in him for the last 9 years?
That's a good point too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, OP, you're an idiot. You're actually the problem here. This is all your
Just
fault.
chill out, Jack. that being with someone like that for such a long time will skew your sense of normalcy. It will just
Yeah.
absolutely destroy it because you're like, wait, I'm dating other people now and they don't like check my phone every day
Yeah.
and like scream at me for looking at another man in the street. What? That's normal? It's not. Wait, it's not normal.
It's
Like that kind of thing. Like, how screwed is OP's sense of normalcy that after dating someone like that, it's got to be insane.
no, you know what though? I am thankful for guys like that to exist because
Mm.
it makes guys like us who ever do the bare minimum sometimes seem like really decent guys.
I'm such a
Literally,
catch, guys. Hell
just being
yeah.
nice to women half the time can
Mhm.
genuinely get you like huge response or positivity from dates. Then,
Mm,
it's
mhm.
amazing. I mean, granted, you also got to be hot, but when you get past that threshold, if you just wear I usually just wear like a paper bag.
I
I
usually don't
put
stare with women in the eyes because 'cause I'm scared of them.
nice, yeah.
Mhm.
What I'll do is I'll 3D print Henry Cavill's face on a paper bag.
Oh,
Works
yes.
every time. And yeah, that's why you date someone who also prefers the lights off, so that because
Mhm.
they're just and that way they just don't see you take off your paper bag.
You can never go wrong in an instance,
Never go
guys.
wrong. There's nothing creepy about that.
You have to wear a headband around me,
Yeah,
around your eyes every
yeah,
time,
yeah.
guys.
I'm into
Can't be
blindfolds.
doing it.
Yeah, I'm into blindfolds, but
Yeah,
only
yeah.
you
There's
wear
like
it.
a yeah, there's a real BDSM kink
Yeah.
on this side of the room.
You must face away from me at all times.
That's the one. They said Nate Tate found out the grass wasn't greener.
Yes, Nate Tate.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
Nate Tate.
That's it.
Nate Tater Tot.
Yeah. All right, on to the next story.
Mm.
Am I the a hole for expecting my husband to be home every night that we have his kids, my stepkids, at home?
Mm.
My husband has two kids from his previous marriage, both boys 12 and 14. They are sweet kids, but they're teenage boys. They're wild, they tend to get into fights, they're messy, and listening is not their best life skill at this stage of brain development. I do not have biological kids of my own. I met these kids when we started dating about 4 years ago, and we've all lived together for about 2.5 years.
Mm.
Long story, but we moved last summer about 60 miles from our old home. The move was because the boy's bio mum got remarried to a guy who lived in a different part of the state. To avoid the kids bearing the brunt of the commute, we agreed to move. My husband still commutes to work, and I work from home full time now. See, that's where I see where this is becoming an issue.
Mhm.
We have 50-50 custody of his kids. During the school year, we never have the kids on Monday or Tuesday nights. My husband enjoys playing in low stakes bar poker games, so he generally does
Hell
that
yeah.
on Mondays and Tuesdays. It's a very long drive to the venue where he plays, so he stays with friends near our old house on those nights and doesn't come home. Not my favorite arrangement, but I go out of my way to ensure he feels like
He
he has.
stays over at their houses?
Yeah.
Wait, how long is the drive again?
60. No, not. They don't say the drive to the venue. No, it's a long drive. No specific
But
amount.
it's enough that he's sleeping over. Is he just getting wasted on Mondays and Tuesdays? What about work?
Yeah.
What? What's going on?
I'm going to assume the drive is the same sort of 60 miles sort of difference. So he still has to drive pretty far to work. So he's like, hey, my mate's place is closer to work, so I'll just stay there overnight, go to work in
Mhm.
the morning. Assuming, not defending though. Still seems a bit.
That's just ridiculous
Yeah.
to me, but sure.
So yeah,
Sure.
yeah, on those nights, doesn't come home. Not my favorite arrangement, but I go out of my way to ensure he feels like he has autonomy to enjoy his hobbies, something he definitely didn't have in marriage number one. The issue has come up with regards to our summer custody schedule, which switches to 1 week on, 1 week off from the normal school year schedule. It recently came out in conversation that he expected to still play in his poker game on Tuesday nights during the summer, and that he was fully planning on staying with friends and not coming home those nights. It has always been our understanding and agreement that he would be home any night we have the boys here. When I brought this up, he told me he didn't think it was a big deal to not be home one night a week and to expect me to handle everything on those nights. Now, I am super uncomfortable being here with them alone. They make me anxious. I hate when they fight, and I don't think it's my place as a step parent to discipline them. If they were kids who just read books and sat in silence all night, I might feel differently. But there's an always greater than 0% chance that someone is literally throwing punches, and I have no
Oh
interest in
god.
being solely in charge of that
Oh
situation.
no.
I already am the default parent for laundry, school pickup, scheduling, meals, and the primary caretaker anytime during school breaks, since I
Mm.
work from home. I have clearly communicated to my husband how I feel about being here alone with them, so he is aware. Beyond how it impacts me, I don't think it's a great example for the kids either. It's not like my husband is on work trips. It's like, hey, dad would rather play poker than be here with you. I
Mhm.
just feel like part of being a parent is you have to plan your life around kids' stuff. My husband already has it easier than most because of the joint custody, and the fact that I am happy to sacrifice some of the few days we would have alone for the two of us so he can pursue this hobby. So, serve it to me straight.
Mhm.
Am I the a hole here? My husband is making me feel like I am, but I just feel like this is me making a reasonable ask and trying to set a very legitimate boundary. Hmm.
I completely agree. I think you are making a reasonable ask. I think you are setting a reasonable boundary. He's
Hmm.
being incredibly disrespectful to not only you, but to the kids. What message does that send to the kids? Oh yeah, I get you an extra 2 days. You're going to be in the house an extra 2 days. I still don't want to hang out with you those nights though. I've got a schedule that I'm going to stick to that, I agreed to only because you weren't here and I don't want to be with my disgustingly loving partner that I could spend 2 nights alone with. I'd rather be out with the boys, sleeping over at theirs. Do we really believe that he's out there sleeping over with the boys? Who knows?
Ooh,
That could be
yes.
a plot twist if there's ever an update.
Yeah.
But
There is no update, but yeah, look, it's a good point.
maybe one day, but
Yeah.
I just think he's disrespecting his entire family and obviously not taking OP's feelings into consideration. And, if you want your kids to resent you, keep doing it.
Hmm.
They're like, Dad doesn't want to hang out with us because poker with the boys is more important than
Yeah.
spending time with us. So we're going to go punch on together. That's how we're going to take our frustrations out by just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
Like,
I am kind of concerned with the whole physical, like, yeah, teenage boys that can be a bit aggressive of sorts, but usually it's more in a playful manner, and
no,
I'm
knocking
kind of
each other's
concerned with
lights
the.
out.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Bah!
But that's the thing though, where I kind of have to wonder just the way she's worded things when in regards to them getting punchy.
Mhm.
Are they getting violently punchy or are they getting playful punchy? If
I think
she is
playful.
someone, well, that's the thing because she talks about how, or if they just read books and sat in silence all night, I'd feel differently. This is clearly someone who doesn't at all like confrontation, especially with
No.
kids she doesn't feel like she's allowed to confront, which I understand that feeling. That said, I am going to kind of have to argue a bit against OP. You should have been mentally prepared for this sort of position you're in.
Mhm.
Getting into a relationship with someone who had kids that were basically early teens when you started dating and being together. Like, as much as it is, I do agree. It's sort of end of the day, they're his kids.
Mhm.
You are someone who was clearly intending to join this family. You have to be prepared at some point, now better than never, to sort of put your foot down and be like, hey, guys, come on, this isn't appropriate. Like, yes, you're not their parent, but you're also an adult. You're also,
Mhm.
when something ever goes down in that household, they're going to come to you for help. Um, and you got to prove to them that you are capable of taking charge for them.
That's the thing,
Um,
if they want, I
mm,
can push back a little bit on that and
yeah.
say, if the kids want them as a parental figure like that as well. I know
Hmm.
there's a lot of discourse online where it's like, well, you don't always have to ask the kids what they want to do.
Yeah.
You don't always have to ask OP what OP wants to do. These can be two separate entities existing in the same house.
Hmm.
I can do all the parenting. They're old enough now that they don't need another mother in their life.
That's a good
They've
point,
got
too.
their mother
Yeah.
figure.
Yeah.
They can go to OP for help if they want it or need it,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to expect that of her because they are old enough to be their own people now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
Mm.
still think that it's completely unreasonable of him to give up being that father figure in their life and expecting that much of OP. Like, in
Mm.
myself, I'm like, why date people with children if you don't have one as well? Like,
Yeah, it's like
it's so awkward.
unless you're someone who's willing to take that on board.
If you're willing to do that, I
Yeah.
respect it absolutely. But
Yeah.
it seems like OP's come to a bit of an impasse where there's enough within reason that you
Mm.
can deal with. But I think
Yes.
he's being entirely unreasonable with these other 2 nights. And it's
Yeah.
not like it's forever. This is school
Mm.
holidays. What, like 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
He's not willing to give up 1 or 2 poker sessions to be there
Mhm.
with his kids. He is being entirely unreasonable. This is a ridiculous fight. I
Mm.
think he needs to have some respect and just take the week off.
Now, I'd like to know though as well. I mean, I'm going to read some of the comments that OP responds to, but like, does she ever also get a night off? Because if that's
It
the
doesn't
case,
sound like it,
yeah,
no.
if she did, I would have a bit of a different decision here about the husband's actions because technically it is just one night a week that he does play poker.
Mhm.
Again, still the case where they're his kids. He should be around them still.
Yep.
But I mean, I guess he is technically going to still be around them for the rest of the week. But again, she's also one who stays at home and works at
Hmm.
home. She's dealing with the kids more than he is. So I don't think it's fully fair to say that, oh, well, he's still going to be around for the rest of the week when
Hmm.
she still is going to have to be around the kids more than he is. That's still where the issue is like, well,
There's a bit of an imbalance there.
yeah, imbalance of responsibility of like being the adult in this in the whole household.
Yep.
Anyway, let's read some of these comments here. So, like, obviously, quite a lot of defense for the OP here. The fact that she moved 60 miles to accommodate his custody schedule. He
Hmm.
doesn't come home from Monday AM to Wednesday evening. Now, this is the thing.
Yeah, that's 2 days,
So
not
it's
one
2
night.
days
It's
because
2 nights a week.
she says here
He
that it's
said
a
Monday and
Tuesday
Tuesday
night.
night. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So he
He does like
generally
2 poker nights a week,
hang
Monday
on.
and Tuesday night.
So my husband enjoys playing low stakes, so he generally does that on Monday and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But then later on, she says it's on Tuesday nights. So again, that might be where it's a case where it's just a typo. She meant to say Monday and Tuesday nights. So yeah,
I'm under
um,
the assumption it's Monday night, Tuesday night
here
in
we
a
go.
row.
Hold up. Here's the issue. So
Mhm.
he normally does do Monday and Tuesday nights, but it recently came out in conversation that he expected to still play on his poker game on Tuesday nights during the summer. So
Not
with this
Monday nights,
situation,
just
no
Tuesday
longer 2
nights.
nights, just the 1 night.
Even then,
Yeah.
if you're not happy, like relationships are a two-way street.
Yes.
2 yes, 1 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he's not accepting of that, he's not ready to continue this relationship. He's not being
Mm.
reasonable. If he wants to continue this relationship in a respectful and amicable way, respect the 2 yes, 1 no. If it's
That
not
and
working for OP, come to a compromise where
yeah.
she can agree with him. But
Yeah,
he's
that and
not
offer
doing
offer
that.
something that she can also have that same experience, so it does feel somewhat fair at least, you know?
Yeah,
But
come to compromise together.
yeah. So okay, yes. So yes, again, that results in OP having the boys on Wednesday, Thursday, I presume every other weekend. Or the husband and wife do. So
Mhm.
you get time alone together, you two, every other weekend, Friday night through the Monday AM. Not good. Now he wants you to be the overnight sitter for his boys so that he can play poker and sleep over there. You're right to tell him that you are unhappy with this arrangement. You're right to tell him that you're unhappy with the arrangement altogether. You get 3 nights alone with him every 2 weeks, while he spends 4 nights playing poker and sleeping there every 2 weeks. I don't know what to tell you about this. I would say that you are absolutely right to tell him that he needs to be there when his children are there. But I also think that you would be right to point out to him that he spends 4 nights every 2 weeks on poker and only 3 nights every 2 weeks at home alone with you. Nobi responds that yes, you nailed it. It's not working out, to be honest. I have far more self esteem than when I first started dating this man. I have done a ton of personal development, therapy, and trauma healing over the past several years. I dearly love for this man, and I have fought like hell to make it work, but it's becoming more and more apparent to me that he does not want to truly be a partner in a relationship.
Yep.
Mm.
Because just no boundaries are being respected here. Is there a big age gap between them? I missed the ages
Let's see
when we
the age gaps
initially.
again. It doesn't actually specify the ages.
I
Yeah.
I
Mm.
that
That's sort of a
and she doesn't have her own kids already. He has two
you
15-year-old kids. I'm gonna guess he shot for someone 10 years younger than him, and she's had
Mm.
to go to therapy. Looking out for herself
Oh,
and changing a lot.
yeah, yeah. I just want to point out there's a comment here that Opie's made that's very important too, that really doesn't help the father here. So,
Hmm.
someone brings up their own personal experience of this. Back when this was happening to my brother and I, there was no 50-50 custody, so maybe people just view it differently now. But for us, if we would go to my dad's house for a weekend and he wasn't available, we'd be wondering why the hell we were there. To hang out with our stepmom, who didn't really get along with us anyway, when we could have been home instead of with our stuff, with our friends. And Opie responded to this. This is exactly my point to him. The kids never outright say it, but they're always kind of like, oh, so why are we here if our dad isn't? We have a fine relationship, but they don't want to hang out with me. They want to spend time with him. That nails it right there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, okay.
Like, why they don't even want to be there then? What's the
Hmm.
point? You don't even respect your kids enough to ask them, hey, like, do you want to be here if I'm not here?
Yeah,
Because I don't want to be here, obviously. He's not even talking to them. Like,
yeah. Like,
this guy has problems.
at that age, it is fair to trust those kids can have an idea of what they want custody wise in this sort of situation. Like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, kids, this is the situation for the summer. Are you okay with that? That I'm not going to be there? Would you prefer I actually be home there with you guys? Like, it's Mm.
Sorry. I'm not going to be home. So I'm only going to be there 3 days a week or 5 days if you count the weekends as well. Because 1 week
Oh,
on, 1 week off. Like,
yeah,
yeah, no, he didn't talk to the kids about it. He doesn't
clearly not.
care.
Yeah,
Why would he care? He's getting everything he wants.
it's
Keep the gravy train rolling until a wheel falls off the train.
yeah.
Then we'll deal with it.
It's the fact that he hasn't
Ask
just
Jack, ask for forgiveness, not permission.
yeah, that's it. That's true. Hey, steal the bike, then pray for forgiveness. Don't pray for a bike.
Exactly.
That's the secret. That's the secret to it.
I'm pissed off about this guy. He's pissing me off.
Yeah, yeah, not the a-hole. You should plan things on the same nights, not my kids. He is using you to play poker. It wouldn't kill him to miss poker every other week. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, this is the annoying thing is that like I feel like if he was actually redeemable, surely OP would have mentioned at some point that oh, we do this together every, Friday
He
night
gives me
or
girls' nights off.
yeah.
So it's a healthy, balanced
Yeah.
relationship of give and take.
Like if there was that sort of thing, okay, because then it's a case where it's like okay, you just genuinely don't feel comfortable being alone with the kids. That's
Mhm.
understandable. Again, still that case of like, hey, you should have been ready for this when you dated someone who has young teenage kids. But that doesn't matter now when it's clearly a case where he is literally not at all giving you some sort of equal space and freedom from the kids.
Equal respect.
Yeah, equal
Mhm.
respect.
No equal respect.
Oh, look at that. It all comes back down to equality. Who would have thunk it?
OP, come back with the ages. I need to know the age,
Yes,
the differences
please.
between you and the husband. Yeah,
Oh, if it turns out there's
you
like
and
a
the man.
15-year age gap.
It's
Oh boy.
ah.
Oh lordy.
Who would have thought? Who'd
Oh
have thunk
man.
it?
Who would have thunk it?
Let's move on,
Yep.
Jackie.
Next story.
Righty. Another one with babysitting. We're
Yay.
continuing the theme.
I love sitting on babies.
Do you now?
Very, very
Not beating
cushiony.
the allegations, Jack.
The babysitter.
So this posted a week ago by Riley Zane,
Mhm.
2007. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my stepbrother during my dad's funeral?
Oh,
I,
jeez.
18 female, lost my dad 3 weeks ago. He was my best friend, my safe place, and honestly the only parent who really got me. My mum and I are strained, and she divorced him when I was 10. He remarried when I was 13, and his wife Stacy, who's in her 40s, came with her own son, Adam, who is 9 male. To be real, I never bonded with them.
Hmm.
Stacy always treated me like a guest at my own dad's house, and Adam was a spoiled little tornado.
Ugh.
My dad tried to make it work, but I mostly avoided going over once I hit 16. We were closer one on one anyway. Fast forward to the funeral, I was wrecked. I'd spent the night before writing a eulogy and crying my eyes out. I was trying to hold it together in black heels and waterproof mascara, and then Stacy pulls me aside literally 15 minutes before the service starts and says, "Hey, could you just keep an eye on Adam? He's having a hard time, and I want to be able to focus on greeting people." Oh my. Oh, what's wrong with this woman? Hey, I know your dad just died, but I gotta say hi to people. So like look after him, will ya?
Your dad's dead, and I want to look good.
And I wanna
So
look good in front of everyone. I need to make a good impression at your dad's funeral.
you listen here, daughter of the man who's dead. I want to look great here. I'm gonna have a good impression to everyone here. Okay, so I don't want to respect.
I need to socialize at my dead husband's funeral, okay? Look after him.
Damn, get rid of Gal Gadot. They should have cast her for the Snow White movie.
I thought she was joking, but no, she wanted me, the daughter of the dead man, to babysit her son so she could socialize like it was some brunch event. I said no, politely at first, and then more firmly when she pushed. She got huffy and whispered, "You know, you're not the only one who lost someone."
Clearly, no mirrors exist around this at this funeral procession.
I snapped. I said, "You lost a husband of 5 years. I lost the man who raised me my entire life. You do the math."
Yeah.
She gasped like I slapped her and stormed off.
Yeah, you should have.
Later at the more than a slap, Jesus. Later at the reception, she told my mum and other relatives what I said, and now half the family is calling me selfish and immature. My aunt even said I traumatized Adam because apparently he overheard us and cried. It's a bit dramatic. I feel
Traumatized.
I feel bad for the kid, I do, but I was grieving too. I didn't think that it was my job to parent her child when I was barely keeping it together myself. So am I the asshole? Then someone says, OP replies to someone's comment. The comment is, "You're not the asshole. There was aunts and uncles. When we were kids, we pretty much grouped up with the cousins at funerals. It'd be different if she asked you to watch him while she went to the bathroom or something. Maybe even a group deciding to take shifts. Saying watch him while I'm at the greeting line for 2 hours. No, that's unreasonable. She should have had a sitter for him if it's that much of a pain in the ass." And
Yeah.
OP says, "Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, if it was just a quick thing, that's fine. But expecting me to basically babysit throughout the whole thing at my dad's funeral? Yeah, nah.
That's
Yeah,
ah.
like heartless thing to do. And I said, like on that first story, psychopath. This one, sociopath. Just unfeeling, you know.
I would not be surprised if this woman was just trying to get her out of the way so the attention would stay on her more as the wife, the widow, and not the daughter that, everyone's more familiar with in this family.
What about the
Like,
men taking the spotlight? What he
uh,
has the indecency to have all this attention on him at his own funeral. What about me? What
I
about
thought
me
you
at
were
the
talking about
greeting
the
line?
son, the 9-year-old for
No,
a
the
second.
Adam.
He's getting all the attention, having a little tantrum. What a sook.
Take
I
him
can sook
away.
louder. I can sook louder. I can make bigger cries. Look at my tears. They're bigger. See?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How's it going, Aunt Susie?
Yeah. Are you seeing these tears? Look how authentic they are. I got them imported from France.
Oh wow, premium
Yeah,
tears.
premium
From the
tears.
Champagne region.
Yeah, the champagne tears. They burn my eyes. That's where the redness comes from. It's authentic red eyes.
Yeah. But
Uh,
how is anything you said traumatizing to Adam? There's nothing that you said about that was mean. What is with these people in these stories always like you traumatized them.
yeah.
You said something that was insane. Like the only way someone is traumatizing in this instance is
Mm.
if she lied to everyone that she told the story about and just
Yeah.
real pumped up what
Yeah.
OP did. She's like, OP started slapping the heck out of Adam. Choke slamming him into the counter when
Choke
he
slamming
didn't
him.
do what I told him to. She traumatized my poor baby. She sent him half to death. Oh my god, because you should have seen it. She did a pile driver as well on Adam when he wouldn't listen.
She told him about the birds and the bees. He's traumatized.
He's shaking in his britches right now.
He explained all the words that I used to say to my husband. Oh no, now he just
mhm.
doesn't look at me the same way anymore.
Like, just insane. Just
Oh.
insane, these people. Absolutely not. You're not the asshole for refusing to
Yeah.
babysit your stepbrother during your dad's funeral. Kick her out. Like, get rid
Kick
of
her
her
out,
at this
yeah.
point.
Oh, I hope she gets most of the inheritance and not the widow.
Well, in
Man.
situations like this, they often, they go to the lawyer with the husband and
Mm.
renegotiate how the estate is settled
Oh,
as well
I
and the
hate that.
will is settled. Or, if he's
Ah.
just dropped dead out of nowhere, they kick up a fuss when it comes
Mhm.
to these legal proceedings. They're like, well, I was there for him in his final days. I deserve more.
Yeah. Nah. No, you
People,
don't.
people get ugly in their final days.
Yeah. Once money gets involved, it's always the
Mhm.
worst. Yeah, it makes me I never am surprised when people who win lottos and stuff like that. They always just come fully masked up. They don't want to be
Absolutely.
seen. Yeah.
They just
Shame.
like, I got the scream face mask on.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? You don't know me."
Oh.
Mm.
What else was it? Like, yeah, so okay, the eulogy would be this is one thing where I'm like, okay, there's one thing to consider. If she was doing all the greetings and stuff, she would still get a chance to do the eulogy.
Mhm.
So if there was any issue of like not her getting a chance to do all the things she was preparing for at the funeral, technically she still would have had the time to do so if she was taking care of Adam.
Mhm.
I could understand if maybe the widow, well, now ex-wife technically, maybe saw this as an opportunity where Adam was in a vulnerable moment and wanted to give OP a sort of olive branch to connect with him more as a family member than the distance they've sort of created.
Mm.
I could understand that. And, maybe she just really sucks at actually communicating that better than just watch my child for me. Like
Yeah.
maybe she can say, hey, Adam's really distraught. I'm sure you of anyone would actually know how he's feeling right now because you are literally his daughter.
His daughter, his
Like
sister.
you're like
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
the husband. You're my husband's daughter. Like
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought
yeah,
you meant, like, Adam's
you
daughter,
would
and I'm like, "What?"
like
Oh,
you
no.
would connect with Adam as
Mhm,
like how he's feeling. I know that you obviously connect more to this than Adam would, but like Adam doesn't know any better. Like, can you please, I
mhm.
don't know, speak to him or just be there for him so he doesn't feel alone in this sort of experience. And
Yep.
that sort of thing that could work. I could have seen OP being like, you know what,
Mhm.
let's be there for him. But no, instead it just sounded like she was just trying to brush him off so she could do what she wanted rather than can you be
Yeah, I
there
don't
for
wanna
me?
deal with this kid.
Yeah,
Gotta
yeah,
get it away from me.
yeah. That's the thing. Like
I hate this thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if that
Mhm.
actually was her intention, but the way she worded it didn't make it sound like that at all.
Like,
Yeah,
Adam's 9. Adam can go, like, hang out with the other kids.
if there's
Adam's
other
not a
kids there though,
5-year-old. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure there is, like,
surely.
there's other kids that he could have gone and hang out with. It's like, OP
Mm,
is having to talk to everyone and connect on a very personal level. If
yeah,
Adam is there constantly butting in, Adam being like, "Can we go do this? Can we go do that?
yeah.
I'm
That's a good
bored.
point.
I'm bored. You got games on your phone?"
Yeah,
That just
true.
you're not gonna
Yeah,
be in the moment. You're not gonna be able to connect with people. You're not gonna be able to grieve.
yeah.
And it's
That's true.
insane that she's like,
That's
y-
another point too. Sorry, what you're saying is that like,
yeah,
was he actually distraught and upset, or was he just being annoyed and sulky that he had to be there and dealing with all that
it
depression around him? And so
doesn't
she
say
was,
how Adam was acting.
yeah,
So I can only guess
mm,
Adam was probably sad as well.
yeah,
If Adam's not being pushy and everything like that, I can understand Adam can be there and you'd be like, Adam, can you just chill while I talk to all these people?
yeah,
That's fine. But if Adam was being pushy, being like, I don't
mm,
want to be here,
yeah,
which I can see that happening as well. That's
mm-hmm,
realistic.
yeah,
Then you'd be like, this is your son,
yeah,
not my son,
yeah.
not my problem. Take him
Like
away from
this,
me.
this is one thing that I do kind of find annoying with like some sort of just the responsibility of being a parent where you sometimes are afraid of making a scene disciplining a child. I don't think we should shame that. I think we should let parents not be afraid to literally chastise their kid in front of people for
Hmm.
them, not behaving appropriately. Like if a parent has to be very stern to their child in front of people, let's not stare at the parent for being aggressive and like, telling them off. Let's actually,
Like,
look at them
yeah.
with like, good on you. Good on you for teaching your child. You're raising your child right. You're not letting them get away with bad behavior in front of people. I don't know, like
Hmm.
it's working in some positions of work where there's a lot of families involved. You do get some parents who would rather avoid confronting their child in front of people and just let them do what they do because it's like, oh, I don't want to create a scene. It's like, no,
No, we
don't
got
be
to set
afraid
an
to.
example for the other
Yeah, set
kids.
an example.
You
Let
know,
let parents be more comfortable to literally tell their child that what they're doing is wrong. It's
Mm, I respect that.
yeah.
I hope that more people get to doing that. But
Yeah, just
as
just a
we've seen
little
on
left, right,
TikTok,
good night,
oh no, equal
No,
lefts,
sorry.
equal
Don't
rights for
sit on
these
babies too.
kids.
Yeah, turns out when you apply for a babysitter job, it's not literal. Yeah, I got in trouble
Okay,
for that. Lost my
be the
blue card.
change you want to see in the world, Joe.
Yeah, yeah. Be the diaper change. Okay. Next story is by ad individual 2392. So
Mm-hmm.
likely a throwaway.
It's a throwaway, of course.
Yep. Am I the a-hole for getting my sister arrested after she destroyed my clothes? So I, 24 female, live with my younger sister, 21 female, while we both save up for our own places. It's been mostly fine, but lately she's been acting super jealous and petty over the dumbest stuff, especially my clothes. I work a decent job and I like fashion. I save up and occasionally treat myself to nice things. Think Zara, just like my pants.
Hell yeah.
Got them from an op shop though, so it doesn't count.
Mm.
Abercrombie, nothing's outrageous, but definitely stuff she doesn't buy herself. She constantly borrows my clothes without asking. I've asked her to stop multiple times, even put a lock on my closet door, which she broke. Last week was the final straw though. I came home from work and found a pile of my clothes, my favorite leather jacket, some designer jeans, a silk dress I wore once, all shredded and slashed up on the floor. Like
Damn.
someone went full slasher movie on them. My heart dropped. I asked her what happened, and she just smirked and said, maybe now you'll stop acting like you're better than everyone else. I completely lost it. I called the police and filed a report. She thought I was bluffing until the cops actually showed up. I showed them the damage, the receipts for the clothes. I keep most of them for returns or resale, and the broken closet lock. She was arrested for property damage. Now my parents are freaking out, saying I took it too far and that she's just a kid, and family shouldn't call the cops on each other.
Family
Wow.
shouldn't call the cops on each other,
Oh,
Jack.
man.
Oh my
Okay, so
god.
clearly this is the daughter of Vin Diesel, but I've had
Family.
enough. This wasn't an accident or a dumb prank. This was straight up malicious. So, am I the a-hole for pressing charges against my own sister? I was willing to see some slide of like, until I read the "she's just a kid from the family."
She's
Immediately,
just a kid.
immediately the golden child, always given excuses for the actions they do, which is so unsurprising as to why she would do this to your clothes, to just tear them up.
She's
and think
30.
she's in the right.
30 years is young. She's just a baby.
She's 21, so she's clearly only just now an adult. So she's still young, a young adult. So
She's a
therefore she's allowed to.
21-year-old child.
Yeah.
Please, can we keep infantilizing the youth? Please.
Oh my gosh.
She's only old enough to drink, get a registered firearm, and enlist in the Navy.
And vote, assuming she lives in America too.
That's it. She's a
Yep.
child, all right.
Yeah, just a child. That's why we shouldn't respect her opinions on anything.
She tore your clothes up childishly. It was just a social experiment.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand it.
If anything, you're clearly the egotistical one because you made such a big issue out of clothes. You can just buy more. Oh,
See, this is your problem. You hold grudges.
yeah. If anything, you're part of the problem because you buy from Zara and Abercrombie, which are definitely the only clothing stores that are a cheap labor force with clothing. So if anything, she's helping you become a better person and
Yeah.
being more environmentally conscious.
Shop, op, shop.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
the one.
See, I'm good because I went to an op
Recycle.
shop for my Zara pants.
I don't think Americans know what op shops are.
Wait, I'm sure they have op
We
shops.
call it op shops.
What do
but
they
just say
call it?
Thrift stores.
Thrift stores.
Yeah, thrift store. We say opportunity shop because it's a good opportunity for a bargain.
Wait,
Until
really?
the commercialization of
Oh, yeah.
opportunity shops happen, where everyone resells on eBay.
No, hang on. Is it actually called opportunity shops? That's what it's short for?
Op shop, opportunity shop. I'm pretty sure. I mean, like that's what
I've
I
been an
saw.
Australian for 30 years of my life and I didn't know that.
No.
That's like not realizing that Macca's is short for McDonald's. Ugh.
That's crazy that you didn't know that.
I think I need to renew my Australian
We just
citizenship.
thought, we just call them ops, because it's
Ah.
funny. It's a sick little
Yeah.
name.
That's why in Australia, our special ops teams aren't actually soldiers. They just go around trying to find good deals at
That's the one,
thrift
dude.
stores.
That's their shops themselves. We supply
Yeah.
the special ops.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
Now, it's interesting because there's actually a lot of people who think this story's fake and AI generated for some reason, because of course it is.
But I mean, we've seen plenty of stories like this for me personally, where wedding dresses get cut up when
Yeah.
OP doesn't agree to lend out the wedding dress to someone that wants to use it. They come in and just hack and tear the dress apart. It's happened so many times.
Mhm.
I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that this is happening here too. People turn
Yeah.
into psychopaths when
Yeah.
they don't get what they want, and they say, if I can't have it, no one can have it,
Mm.
and they will just destroy shit.
It's a common thing too as well, especially online. I have a lot of foreign friends at my workplace that tell me all the time when they're like posting things online or talking about things, they always use ChatGPT to actually correct the English grammar for them.
Mhm.
So half the time, even if it is possibly edited by AI, it's usually because that person's English isn't very good typing out and they use AI to help them fix it anyway. So it's,
Mhm.
I don't know, whenever I see some slight theory that it might be AI, it's like, well, a lot of people use AI to help them fix their stories, or fix their posts online. It's not so much that they are fake. But anyway,
Believe it or not, straight to jail for that.
yes,
No.
yes, you should go to jail for trying to be more communicative online.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, comment here. Calling the cops is an arsehole move. You already
I
said
don't
you're
think
saving
so.
to move out on your own. Now your sister is going to be paying court fees, jail fees, lawyer fees just to keep a record from being an actual issue. Oh, and since many places won't rent to those even with misdemeanors, you may have locked her into a longer lease with you. She
Oh,
should have
no.
had to pay for the clothes, and I'm guessing your parents would have helped facilitate that.
Did someone have to deal with the consequences of their actions? Oh no. Wow, you do something absolutely insane and you tear apart clothes and
Oh.
do property damage, and now they're calling the cops on me. If you did this to anyone else that's not OP, they're gonna
Oh.
call the cops on you. What? Just because they're family or family are exempt from consequences, like legal consequences? Hell nah.
Yeah.
I'm calling the cops on you. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, look, there's some other ones here that are in that sort of support too, where your sister is a petulant brat and needs to learn about frick around, find out. Blood
Uh
is
huh.
not thicker than water. It can be broken down into its constituent parts. By her actions and your parents' actions, she has permanently damaged a relationship with all of them.
Mm
Now, there is this one, though, as well. Not the a hole, though, definitely, to be fair, in reality, is some fabric really worth destroying the rest of someone's future over? A family member
hmm.
at that?
Yes.
Move, sure, get a like this is very broken spelling here for some reason.
All
Get
good.
a REMP, I guess temporary restraining order, like REMP RO, temp
Yeah,
restraining order.
Temparo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Heck, anything that doesn't leave a lifetime consequence for something that A, did not take you a lifetime to get, which is the clothes, and B, you would likely not have had for a lifetime anyway. C, would simply have been replaced at her expense, which the court may very well do anyways. Or
hmm
D, been such a childish act in itself, making it fairly clear of the sister's mental maturity, definitely not being on par with her age. E, sounds more like lashing out. My guess would be that due to something outside the home, she can't figure out how to find help for, possibly the whole mental health thing, despite her age. There's also the question of what the rest of the story is. Even if it's one argument between the two, what was said? How was it said? Does it justify the reaction? Probably not. Though it makes the sister seem like far less of an out and crazy witch if this is the first
Oh,
time lashing
witch.
out, which would be highly unlikely. Having some issues with crazy in my own family and it running into my kids, if that was truly something to be fearful of, it would have been an issue since she was quite young, as well as a consistent ongoing issue, not something most people are going to choose to live with, even to save a few bucks to save up for their own place. Hope you find a way to resolve without losing a family member, someone who's been there, as where you are. You may not care now, but give it 15 to 20 years. I promise some clothes really won't seem nearly as worth it. So I think they're trying to argue this idea that maybe this wasn't a one time thing. Maybe this is something that OP sort of caused her to react as. Look, okay,
I
but
love
that's
victim
really
blaming.
throwing a lot of
I just love victim
assumptions.
blaming. It's so much fun. I love blaming the victims and saying, you know what, you shouldn't have called the cops, shouldn't have retaliated.
Yeah, you should have just
Nah,
let it happen.
maybe this is your fault.
Well,
Have you thought about it being your fault?
maybe it is my fault directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically me. Well, I mean, look, if she just didn't buy things she liked,
Mm,
then her sister wouldn't have torn up these things. If she
that's
just
it.
didn't have any interests, and didn't enjoy things,
Why don't
what?
you sit in your room all day thinking about
Yeah,
the mistake you made of being born?
exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Maybe just style up your hair. And that way, when she does eventually get envious of that, she'll cut your hair, which, if anything, free haircut, free hairdresser. See?
Exactly.
And that's how you save money. Save
Modern
money better.
problems require modern solutions,
Exactly.
Jack.
You want to save money, get your hair done nicely. So she's jealous of that hair and she cuts your hair for you. Bam. You don't need to go to the hairdressers anymore.
I just think that if you don't call the cops in this situation, she doesn't get actionable consequences for her actions. She's
Yeah.
gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Why are we like letting her off the hook for this one? If she's gonna continue to
Hmm.
attack OP, she's gonna escalate the behavior. If you show that you're about that, if you're
Yeah.
going to react, like you mess with me, I'll mess you up 10 times harder and I'll
Yeah.
make sure that there's permanent consequences for that.
Hmm.
She's never gonna mess with OP again. If she does, gonna go to jail.
Yeah. Straight
Sorry.
to jail.
Straight to jail, don't pass go. I support OP.
Well, like, that's the thing, too, is that, like, this situation, I don't feel like she's going to get a huge, dangerous record on her anyway. She'll probably be
No.
forced to do community service or something at most. It's not going to be.
People are overreacting to
Yeah,
this.
this is clearly a first time offense. This isn't going to be some permanent issue on her forever, but it's going to be enough that hopefully gets her to straighten up and be like, oh, I shouldn't try to destroy people's stuff just because I envy them. It,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't see in any country, at least the ones that I'm familiar with, where this would be something that's legitimate enough to actually be a serious, lifetime black mark, black spot on you forever, wherever you apply to live at and that kind of stuff. No.
I think some of these people are just insane in the comments that
Yeah.
have no life experience. But hey, it is what it is.
Unlike us who
Yeah, I
sit
have
around.
so much life experience.
Yeah.
I'm a really old 27-year-old, guys.
I breathe in and out.
Yeah.
I've done it for a long time. I'm pretty good at it.
I've done a few rotations of the earth myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
All right. Do you want to start wrapping it up there then?
I think
I
we
think I've had enough
shall.
ranting for tonight
Yeah.
myself. I think we've
Yeah.
made some good times.
It's been good.
Great classic hits.
Good stories. A lot of ones that made me really freak out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ones that made me forget about my professional mic positioning.
Yeah, you
But
wouldn't worry about that. You're
yeah,
good.
no, I'll get better.
He's
I'll get better,
learning.
folks. I promise. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
passionate about screaming out into the void about how ridiculous some people are.
Hell yeah.
But otherwise,
I love getting
yeah,
angry at Reddit stories.
it is
I
fun.
fall asleep with rage in my heart.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
Mark goes to sleep here, when Marky sleeps, he doesn't actually like just. It's a constant scream. His room is soundproof.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he sleeps in a
My
vocal
room's
booth.
like a rage room. You see those ones? Just holes in the
Yes.
walls.
Yeah, he sleeps by just
Non-stop.
constantly smashing stuff in his sleep.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why he's so
Smashing
chill.
and smashing. Hell yeah.
Yas King.
Yas King.
Yas
Slay.
King.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah.